All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Sport webinar. Today's date is Saturday, February 16th, 2019, and this is a Saturday morning webinar. And the title of today's webinar is Using Boxes and Wedges. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems, should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? All right, I don't see any, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, I ran almost a little bit late, had helping some people. And what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk more about wedges and boxes. Now, I watched Charles's webinar from the other night, and I didn't get to watch all of it as of yet. But, you know, what I want to go over is not only just how to draw the boxes and everything, but also how to take them with Object Trader. Okay. So what I did here real quick is I just threw an ES chart up. I barely made it to the room and everything, but let's go ahead and do Object Trader. Now, Object Trader, as everyone knows that's been with us, Object Trader is only in Ninja 7 at this time. Okay. Now, Object Trader is a very, very good strategy that we had designed about 3.5 years ago or so, that has a little chart type of panel come up, you know, where you can trade the different types of trades. And what we're going to talk about tonight is going to be regions, and we're going to talk about wedges, okay, mostly. All right, because regions and wedges is pretty much my go-to. You know, I like those really, really well, because if you get used to trading those type of trades, you're going to find that you're going to do pretty well in your trading. Okay. Now, Charles basically talked about, you know, not really putting like a limit order, to give an example. Now, you can do that, but keep in mind, you know, when you do that, you're going to be doing pretty tight stops. To give an example, if I was looking at this chart right now, okay, I'm seeing a stair stepping down. Okay. Everybody sees that, right? So where's our identified swing on this chart? Well, our identified swing is right across here. Okay, so if ES is going to head down and continue down with what we call a downtrend with lower highs and lower lows, then let me ask a quick question of everybody. Where would your trade setup be on this chart? Okay, now keep in mind that, you know, when something's stair stepping and you're expecting it to continue doing this, this is not where you should end up putting your limit order at all, okay? Because basically what they're going to do is more than likely they're going to miss this by a couple of ticks or so. Always look to the swing to the left even, so you got one right across here, like so. And that's pretty much where I would be expecting that trade to set up right there, just like we do in the room all the time. Let's see, Lewis pull back from resistance for a short, absolutely. Let's see. Good morning on CL yesterday. Only 2 contracts at any one time. Is that correct? Was that 3K only on CL? You're amazing on that. Well, Mindy, there was a couple of times on that was up to 4 contracts. Okay, that one that I showed you yesterday in the room, you know, where I actually showed the data series on it and everything. Yeah, that was actually you know, up to 4. Okay. Now, I'm not advocating, you know, doing that as far as that goes. It's up to the individual what they want to do. You know, definitely want to be careful with 4, obviously. But let's say, for instance, that I was trading this and I see that I've got a red background. I've got a magenta midband. It is stair stepping down, which is very important. Okay. Now, when they're sideways like this over here to the left, that's a little more iffy where they change trends. Okay, you'll notice that it stays sideways for quite a while too. See, when you don't start stair stepping down, then you're going to be watching this. For instance, this would be a nice little phantom trade, right? You get in the mid band, you take some coin. You don't have to take the others if you don't want to. Okay, so basically what I'd be doing on this trade right here, right now, would be waiting for a little thrust and a pullback so that I could draw a trend line or a box. Okay, so let's see if it'll go ahead and give it to us. I'll hope not to speed this up too much, because what I want to do is show quite a few of these trade setups today. Okay, now if you ever start Object Trader up from scratch, be sure a bar closes before you, like that. I can go ahead and do my wedge. I'll just put it on the chart, but not drawing at any angle yet or anything like that. Okay, I'm just simply putting my wedge on so that I can be ready for this trade if it sets up. I can get ready to do like touch +2. I can not turn these on yet, that way I don't accidentally get into a trade, but my wedge is here. Okay, and I'm going to just watch it. Now, if it gets up there into that perfect little sweet area, I would probably go ahead and fire a market order, knowing that my stop could be right there, because they should not take that out if they're going to go stair-stepping still down, right? That just shouldn't happen. Okay, let's see if we get something. I'm going about 10 times. Hopefully I didn't pick I did pick a bad time. It's actually pretty much at the market open on, was that Thursday, I guess, wasn't it? Now, usually when I see this come up, like, for instance, it's into this area of resistance right here. This is an area of resistance right here. This is an area of resistance right here. I would be pretty much more than likely, being a little bit more gutsy trader, I would probably be hitting the button the second that hits something like that, because I know it can't take this out. Okay. Now that's a little bit on the gutsy side, but I diagnosed my chart. Okay. Now, if this was to actually come down and go back up, I would draw a trend line. See how that's trying to go back up on that bar? Let's see if it does it. Okay, it went back up, and then I would draw my trend line like so, and then I'd be ready for my trade. See, that's a wedge trade right there. Bottom, which means that the price is above the line, touch +2, or even I can do touch +1, because that's still going to be touch +2 before it fires. Everybody knows that, right? You have to have a confirmation. Now watch and see if it does. We're going to go ahead and move our target down here. We would put our stop just right above here, wouldn't we? Just in case. See, that's only risking 9, and there's my 3. Okay, see how I did that? Now, if you get in the habit of using the tools like this, and by the way, what hit me as a brainstorm a few months ago actually is, why can't we draw a box, and why can't we also draw a wedge and have a little button on here somewhere that says I want to take both of them? Okay, so in other words, if I set up a box, well, let's say I set up my box like this little region. All right, well, it's too late now, but anyway, if you would have set up your region somewhere through here, all right, it would have fired, but I would want it to take the wedge trade and the box trade. Okay, now I did it a little bit different by just doing my wedge. I'd get a couple of these out of the way, see if I could get a target, and there you go. Okay, now you want to also protect your coin, okay? Because to give an example, let me just slow this down just a little bit. All right, I'm in 2 contracts right now, so if that retraces any amount of at all hardly, then I'm going to give up some of this coin. So what I would do is I would flip my wedge around, something like this, and go ahead and take off 1. That would be the top button, see, because the price is under the line, touch +1. And then if it goes above that line at all, then I could stay in 1, but I wouldn't necessarily be in 2. See, because that kind of double bottomed right there, didn't it? Just a little bit, And see, it's still trying to head down, so we're still okay on it. All right, see how the bar is still trying to head down? Okay, so this type of trading can really make a difference in, whether you put some good coin on the table. Because see, we've got like 700 now. Keep in mind it's replaced, so it's not real money right now, but it is the way we trade it. Okay, let's see if we take one off. It's not quite taken out that low yet. Let me speed it up a little bit. Now everybody understands on the wedge and even on the region what these T and B buttons are, because that's extremely important. See, that looks like it's going to take one of my trades off. We'll see. Didn't yet. Goes one more tick, it will. Didn't get it. See how that wicked that line? Didn't get me. Now I could redo my wedge if I wanted to. Like that. See there? Just kind of move it. Oh, I got a region. Duh, it's a region. That's why it didn't fire. There we go. Touch +1. All right, see, we're still in 2. We're up pretty nicely. We don't want to give a bunch back. We do have a little thrust retrace, so I can draw a wedge. And that way I could take something off of this just in case this decides to come all the way back, say, to here, which it could easily do because it didn't check it. Everybody knows that, right? When I talk about look to the left to trade the right. See how that took one off? All right, now notice that real quickly we went from 750-ish to 554. That's one of the hazards of trading multiple contracts, is any kind of retracements can take some of your coin, okay? Any kind of retracements can take some of your coin. All right, we've got another, looks like predictor right here. And let's see if we can get another wedge. Not until we get a little bip. It's got to try to go down and then fake somebody and then go back up so that we can at least get a little wedge drawn. See if it'll go up at all. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Yep, maybe. Now it's above the line, so it will either take me out of the trade or to get me in one more contract with touch +1. There you go. Just got another one. Okay. That would be the way to add, just in case I got taken out. And that one didn't really save me much or anything like that, because it's a little bit more of a not quite as deep a retracement. So we pretty much got in about the same place we got out. So it cost us a broker fee. But see, now we're back to 740-ish, and we didn't take a chance with both contracts going all the way up here and taking me out, because that would have been down to, say, $400. Okay? So that's the way you can use the wedge. Now, personally, I don't like to use the wedge on close at all. I'm hoping on Ninja 8 that'll be a done deal, and we're going to get a really nice feature on that will work perfectly. Ninja 7 doesn't have the plotting capabilities on their charts that Ninja 8 does, as far as, basically where every single place on that chart is like a longitude and latitude, so to speak, a point on the chart. And that's important because we've got to be able to take the trade off. Okay? So now, does anybody see that I could also, absolutely, I'm in the process, I could easily go ahead and protect my trade again. See how you're kind of getting a trend line? I've got 2 on, so I can protect this anytime I want. Touch +1, just in case. We don't know if this is going to go down any further than this yet, do we? Absolutely not. So see how I'm protecting that right there? See if it takes that out at all. Didn't yet. When they stop heading down, have you ever noticed that? When they start going a little bit sideways, they're going to more than likely get you. See how they're not pushing that down? If they push this bar, more than likely you'll be okay. But if not, I'd probably just ride one down on this little trade. I don't like 20 tick retracements on 2 contracts. That's $500 on ES. Now, one thing also I want everybody to get in the habit of doing is keep in mind that where you want to look for these retracements is at or near mid-band, or at least at or near a predictor, okay? Because those predictors can be pretty good, all right? Now, let's see if we can, I'm going to just kill this, and now let's see if we can all get a trade together. I'm going to go ahead and kill this. We're not going to take another trade unless we get a retracement. So I'm going to draw a line on the chart. All right. You've got a high, you've got a low, you've got a lower high, you've got a lower low. So if they're going to respect this, wouldn't you expect them to not much more than just wick that area there, or possibly lower? So couldn't you be ready for the trade? Let's use a region this time, and let's see if we can get something. I'm going to set my region up. I'm going to go up here to this area right here. All right, and let's see, predictor. I'm looking to the left to trade the right. I don't see any swings at all. If they went clear up to here, they'd be taking that swing out, so that wouldn't be lower highs and lower lows. So I'm going to put my swing right back there again, and that's also there. Looking to the left to trade the right. Predictor is saying right here. All right, so I'm diagnosing the chart basically to see where this thing should go ahead and end up for my next trade. Okay, so since we want a lower high than this, we're going to bring our box actually a little bit down, like maybe a tick or so. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this one off, turn this one on, turn this on to enabled. Now, it won't trade it if it pops out the bottom of this box. It's only going to trade it if it gets up here to resistance at predictor. Okay, now once it does this and starts stair-stepping like it's doing right now, I can actually go ahead and move this and then turn this on if I want, if I'm a little bit more gutsy. If it happens to touch, say, plus, well, let's just go for 2. Let's see if we can get something here. We'll go with 2. See if we can get something. Nothing yet. Now, I don't like a breakout trade myself. I like the retracement. I'm going to do 1 if it breaks out. Now, you could also do it, to where, well, here we go. We're stepping up a little bit more. Let's see what we get. See, we've got a little box drawn. Now, notice that if I've got both these turned on, short inside means that if it gets to the top of this short inside, it would fire. But also, if it takes out the bottom of this, it will also fire because I've got bottom and top turned on. Okay, short inside, short outside. And I'm fairly an aggressive trader, so what I'm going to show you something here. If this goes against me, okay, like let's say that I'm in this thing and I see this is giving some coin. If this even starts back in there, I'm going to turn this trade off. See, like that, I would literally get out of it. See how that just popped right back up above resistance? Now it's trying to go. If I can get it, I may have missed it. I'll go ahead and do it again right here. Yep, we missed it totally. Just then, let's see if we can get a touch plus 2 on it. Yeah, we got a touch plus 2. May not get another one. Yeah, we got it. We got okay. And since we've only got one, we're going to have to ride this. And there are break even we just went to break even because I have mine set at 20. Okay. So basically that's the way to, do these like around these mid bands and everything. So let me just stop this for just a second. I'm going to slow it down. Notice how these predictors, see how that predictor, draw a trend line. This predictor, it came within a tick or so on this one right here. Now you would have boxed this one in something like this. Let me see if I can do it. You would have boxed this one in something like that. If you had gotten up and you saw this trade setting up right here, and you saw it come to predictor like that, and it came to a resistance area, and you boxed it, you would have gotten the trade. See? All right. And then you wait for another trade to set up, which we did. See, and we got that one. Now notice that didn't come all the way to predictor, which they don't always, but you could still look to take a trade like this. For instance, you've got a high, you've got a low, you got a lower high, you got a higher low, you got a little higher high than here, but still lower than here. Okay, so this is still definitely a downtrend. And remember, I was saying that when they check these, when they're still heading down, they won't take these identified swings out. Now, they'll dink around at trying to do it, but as a rule, if you're going to head down, they won't do it. Okay, because you're still doing the old stair step down method, right? So that's important to remember. Okay. Now, does everybody draw on their charts pretty much on the tops of these trend lines also? Not that you'll be taking a trend line trade, but, for instance, let's just take this off. We don't care. All right. I'm going to take off some things real quick. And does anybody see a trend line like right across here, to give an example? Wouldn't this pretty much stay in a downtrend until it takes that out? But look how they're actually just starting to kind of kiss this area right through here, and even maybe over here. Let's look to the left to trade the right. You do have a low right here. Okay, so you had a high, low, higher, high. So if they come anywhere near like that 30.29, something like that area right there, you'd probably expect them to bounce more than likely. Let's see. Let me see if some questions coming in. Let's see. Got several here. Let me read them. More comfortable just hitting buy or sell if I feel I have more control. That's understandable. I do that quite a bit too. Is a trend line mostly a 45-degree angle? It also looks like PM1. Well, see, that's the thing too. The PM type trade is pretty good, but the only thing that about a PM trade, and there's no way to around this, is if you get bars that go straight down, and then do any kind of a hook, it will go ahead and do a PM, by then changing back to the direction again. But if you ever get one of those shotguns, like this, where would this draw the PM? Anybody? Let's draw it and see. Now, it's kind of hard to see, but I think you can see it, right? See where if you drew it right here, you had a little thrust, retrace like that. Okay. So yeah, PM can definitely be good. For instance, if you look for a PM to get out of a trade, to give an example, let's just watch this and see. Let's just pretend we're short on this and watch that little meter right up here, because that'll get you out of that trade the minute that meter turns green, if you want to do it that way also. And I do that quite often. Now, what we could do is actually get it to where PM only takes you out if it takes out the left side, not the right side. You see what I mean? In other words, if you got a lower low and then a stair step, it could get you out before it took this swing out. That's something I'm going to add to Object Trader this time around. Let's see what this does. See, no green meter yet. Let's see, just 1 second. If some one trade contract is struggling to get green every day, top issues, what do you recommend? Well, if a person's struggling to get green, I would say more than likely that they're trading wrong. Because the trade calls that are in the room, are just pretty spot on. There's no question about that. Now, see how this thrust retrace, but you don't really have a thrust retrace just yet. Everybody see that? Looks like this is changing dates anyway. Let's see if we get another trade. Notice I lost my stealth too. I don't know why that loses stealth on market replay. Let me reload this. It'll take Object Trader off, unfortunately, but that's all right. All right, let's put Object Trader back on. All right, look to the left to trade the right. Let's see. Now, if you got up and it was this time of day, let's just pretend that you're a late riser and it's almost, what is that, getting close to 8 or 9 o'clock at night? No, it's 11 o'clock at night. All right. What would you do in a case like this? Okay, this is a new day right here. Brand new day. Anybody use trend type trades to get into trades at all, that even going against trends? Because I do that quite often myself. You saw it the other day when I got on like that oil, to give an example. Let's see if we get something here, and I'm gonna draw a trend line if we do. That's actually a trend line right there. Let's try it. Let's draw it. No, not like that. I think we just missed it. Yeah, we missed it. So I'll go ahead and wait. See if we can get a trend line of any kind. It's got to be a thrust and a retrace so I can get a line drawn on here. If we do it. Now we may just head down. If we do, we got to wait for a retrace though. Okay. Now, let me ask a quick question too though. Does everybody diagnose their charts of which way they can actually start going? For instance, if this starts heading down here, we're still heading down. But see, you have a high, you have a low, you have a lower high, have a lower low, little lower high. So this is like a secondary swing across here, like so. Okay. Now, if they decided to take that out, would that be changing trends at the moment? Yes or no? Well, it would be, but you'd have to wait for a confirmation, right? Let's see if this is going to give us a retrace, kiss resistance and roll, or what we're going to get here. Here's a trend line, by the way. See that one right across there? Let's draw it for the fun of it, just for the fun of it. This gives me another trend line. I'll draw it again too. We're going to try a trend line and see if we can get either a thrust or a break of a trend line. We'll go either way, box it in or a trend line break. I'm only going to go for 12 though, because this is definitely a downtrend. Put my stop nice and tight. Put my stop nice and tight. Exit on close. Put my stop nice and tight. And we got ourselves 12 ticks on a trend line break. Now, keep in mind that was a tad on the gutsy side, but I was looking at the thrust retrace and see how that made a higher low, and then we got our trend line drawn. Now, does that mean that every one of those is going to work? No. No. Now, let me ask a quick question. Is this changing trends as we're looking at this? You've got a lightning 3 swing here. Is this a box in area? Well, you want to know how you could also take it? You could draw a trend line, because this could go either way, right? So we'll draw a trend line under the lows. We'll draw a trend line above those tops. And we'll take it either way it goes. How's that? Let's go ahead and do. Let's see what it does. Now, with this background, this color and everything, this is a little bit more slanted to the downside, obviously, because this is what we call a mid-band trade, right? Okay, so this could easily roll over, right? So where would you box this? Anybody? You box it below mid-band, right? Now, this is another reason that I kind of like trend lines quite a bit, because trend lines will work pretty well. Let's see you draw your trend line a little shorter than I do. Raymond, you mean as far as a little bit more aggressively? Yeah, as a matter of fact, that trade that you showed me on Friday afternoon, I'm going to see if I can get to that, because I want to show how I would take that trade. Could you show us the box? Absolutely. Now, keep in mind that I've got trend lines drawn right now, so it would be a wedge. Now, if I was to draw this as a box, okay, now the way I'm seeing this stair-stepping up, where is identified swing on this chart? It's right here, right across here. And I don't personally like to short something that's stair-stepping up. It needs to start stair-stepping down. Okay, it hasn't done that. So this trade right here, if you would have gone ahead and shorted this right here, you might have gotten a little scalp. And I'm fairly aggressive, so I would probably have shorted the mid-band, but I would not let it go against me. Okay, because to me this is, well, you can even draw it. Draw your lightning. See, lightning's like that right now. Okay, let's just keep an eye on it and see. We'll even get ready to buy or sell it. Because see, you don't even have to use the tool here. You can also draw it on your chart. You know, for instance, now that it's made this little bip here and it's gone up, where could you box this now? Well, like this. You could hit your box. There's the bottom of your swing. Touch +2. And also touch plus if this happens to break up. Like so. And you'd be ready either way. Now see, this is actually starting to stair step up. See how that's a higher low than down here? Now, let's see what we get. If they take this out, we'll go short. If they take this out, we'll go long. That's exactly the way we teach that, by the way. Okay? Now, be careful unless you're going to get in really quickly of just, you know, for instance, if you're going to get in at mid-band and it happens to bip down and not do a little stair-stepping down for you, then get out pretty quickly, because you're getting in very possibly like on a trend change. Okay, see how this is thrust, retrace, thrust. It even took out the lightning swings over here to the left. So this more than likely would be a trend change. We'll see. Now you could readjust your box like that. See the swing? Let's see. I wish there was a way to set a default of touch +2 so it doesn't change back to 0. I don't know why that started doing that, actually. I need to, I'll talk to the programmer on that, because I don't like touch at all. Because touch would mean it just has to literally touch the top of a box, and I don't like that. So I'll talk with him on that. Let's see. Lewis said, sorry, Gary, can you get to my above comments? It's been a while. Let's see. What'd you ask, Lewis? If all indicators say down in your region box, why would you get out and not give it a chance if you know it will go down? Well, the whole thing is, that what you want to do is you want to get in the habit of watching lightning. I'm going to talk about lightning quite a bit on Monday night, because lightning, you've got 3 trends on this chart, 4 if you look at the larger one. And in the shorter term trend, this is an uptrend. You see that? Because you're getting higher lows and higher highs. Okay, but now even on the lightning 2 you are. Notice that you're even getting it on lightning 3 because they took out lightning 3 swing over here to the left. Okay, because if you drew lightning 3 like so, that's your lightning swing right there, right? So they are definitely taking that out. See? So is this any longer stair-stepping down? No. Now our everything hasn't changed just yet. But if we jump in this right here, we are not going to let it go against us. Let's just see if it works. Let's see. Let me see if let me see, Lewis, you might have asked something else. Let's see. I'm more comfortable. I already answered that one. Pull back from resistance to short. Lewis, that's the only ones I'm seeing, unless I lost some. Go ahead and type it in again. Now, does everybody see why we do our boxes this way? Now, keep in mind, I don't even trade ES that often, except, right at the open of the regular room, because, before the room, it's not near as fast. Oil is pretty good to trade that time. Now, do you see a swing right here? See this little swing they made? Could you actually put your stop right there with exit on close? Yes. Because, see, it's stair-stepping up, and that's a lightning swing. Now, if you want to be more cautious, your lightning swing is right down here. See, but that's giving it 15 ticks. And that's $300, more than $300 on ES. Everybody see that? Okay, now let's just say that you weren't even in a trade whatsoever. Let's see if we can get another trade set up at all. All right? Let's just say that you didn't get this trade at all. Let's just kill it, as a matter of fact. Let's just see if we can get another trade. We're going to look only if we get a green background and a pullback, and we'll see if we can get something. This is breaking up, by the way. Let's see if we can get something. Fast forward a little bit. There we go. We got a green background. Everybody sees that green background, right? See if we can get anything at all. Green background. Green midband. All right, let's slow this down now. Let's diagnose this chart. All right, let's go ahead and get rid of lightning 1. And let's look to the left to trade the right. Let's see if we can get this thing figured out. Thrust, retrace, thrust. So there's a swing. My midband is right here. Okay. Could they take that out? Well, they shouldn't in a way, because see, this is like a little consolidation patch, so they really shouldn't go down as low as that midband. See how I'm trying to diagnose my chart? See how that thrust up and has already checked that? So I would figure more than likely it would check right across here. And let's just see if we can get something in this little area right here. Now, can't take this out though, okay? And let's see if predictor, now predictor is a really good tool to watch too. Let's see if we can get a predictor setting up on here. We've diagnosed our chart in real time, right? Now we're not looking for short, so we're not going to do a trend line to go short, because this changed trends. And remember, this is a thrust. You haven't even had a retrace, so you can't really draw a trend line yet. Now, if you were long on this and you wanted to use that as your trend line, you could get out of your contracts if it happens to take that trend line out. But I wouldn't short it because it's definitely heading up. See, it even took out that swing. Okay. Let's see. When you draw in the region box, you said you will get right out. It comes back in the box. I say why? Because all indicators said down. You were looking. Well, again, Lewis, what I like to do personally, and keep in mind that, if you think about it, you could always go with the overall trend and hold a stop for as long as you wanted to. But, we're kind of in and out traders, retrace traders. So, for instance, this right here, if you box this, I showed it several times. Here, you even had a chance here, with a trend line. Remember where we drew a trend line? It went down, but then it popped right back up, started stair stepping, and that went green. That's when you can get out of those because, for instance, would I hold this getting in? Let's say that this is a little riskier trade, but I missed out on the day, and I saw a minimum criteria trade set up. Okay, and if I wanted that, but then it pops right back up in my face, I'm not going to give it all the way to here because I'm in here. Now if I was up like 2,000 for the day or something, and that was, a few hundred of it, yeah, I might do that. Let's see, I'd rather wait them for the bigger move. Well, the way to get the bigger move, you've got to get that first wave, from a trend change. Okay, and that's what we're waiting on right now, as a matter of fact, is thrust and retrace. See, we're patient. We're waiting on our thrust and retrace. Let me speed this up. See if we can get something. Now, our predictor is trying to figure out this price range right now. Notice that you have white predictors and magenta. Okay? And let's see if we get diagnosed just like I said. See how it came right into my little box? I'm in the trade. I put my stop just underneath the swing right there. And this should actually work in my favor if I can get to starting to stair step back up. Now, see how that power meter is red still because it kind of came down? Did you know you can actually, this isn't about power meter, but let's just add one if it happens to go green. Just one though. Now to go green, this would have to do a little pop, pull back, and pop. If this pulls back at all, could you draw a trend line? See, they usually pull back. Isn't that amazing? You get in and, I can almost feel the bars doing that because I see this so many times. You get in, they go up a couple of bars, then they come down. Well, you could use a ray like this even if you wanted to, like that. Let's see if we can add one just for the fun of it. That's because I got a little thrust retrace. Now, keep in mind that this is only up to here, so is this a little bit of a gutsy trade? Well, in a way it is, but my background and everything changed. And it is starting to stair step up, so I'm not really afraid of this long, because everything has changed the way I want the trade to be. Touch plus 2 is a little late on that. I think I'd change that. We'll take it, but I didn't like that. And by the way, touch is even touch plus 1. Everybody knows that, right? Let's go ahead and tighten the heck out of this just in case. Matter of fact, I'd probably tighten it to right there at that swing. So I'm only risking 5 ticks now. Okay? Now, what if you miss this trade absolutely entirely again? Because what I want to teach you how to do that's super important is how to get the next trade. Okay? It's the most important thing that you can learn. Okay, let's just say that you didn't get a trade at all. I'm gonna see if we can all pick it out, and we're gonna try to box it or wedge trade it. So let's go fast, just real quick. Let's see what we get. All right, it jumped up. Okay, now do you chase it up here, anybody? Because if you do, you're probably going to get whacked. Okay, see how that bounced right where I diagnosed it? See, I diagnosed it ahead of time. I knew where my swings were. Okay, now you know, where's the next trade on this chart? Anybody? Well, it's really shooting up, so I would draw my line here. That's just above mid-band. I'd look to the left to trade the right. I'd draw a line right here because that is definitely a lightning 3 swing, so I'd draw another one here, like so. And then I would wait for that to at least pull back so that I could try to get into a trade. But now if you get in the habit of, what if this just comes down to like line 6 and bounces? That's too gutsy, by the way. And again, if you take those, you've got only choice in it is if it goes your direction. Because I expect this trade to hit somewhere in this area or do a trend line. Okay, let's see if we can get something. And keep in mind that it's got to at least get somewhere down in here. You don't want to chase this trade way up in here. Okay, this is trying to pull back a little bit. Let's see what it does. No minimum criteria, we won't even touch it. All right, now your mid-band's here. Everybody see that? Now, you've got a high, you've got a low, you got a higher high, right? So, we expect this to actually hold this on a pullback, don't we? Because just like we talked about over here with lower lows and lower highs, we expect this to hold, don't we? Okay, so our little trade, we could say now is between here and here. Okay, so this is going to be a little sweet area right here that we're going to be looking for a trade. So let's see if we can get something. I'm going to fast forward it and see if we can. Now remember, to get a trend line, we've got to have a thrust retrace. And there's your little thrust. Now you can't draw a trend line now. See, that's way too flat of a trend line. Everybody sees that, right? Let me show you what I'm talking about. I like to get a thrust retrace. So if you drew your trend line now, it's right there. That's not a trend line. Okay, because that would be a breakout trade. Okay, so let's see if we can do more the Y type. Everybody know how I used to do the Y type and upside down Ys? Let's see if we get something. I'm going to fast forward it again. Hopefully we can get it. Got to have a little thrust retrace before we can draw a trend line. Now, if this gets anywhere in this area right here, I would probably just go ahead and click an order because it can't take this out if we're going to head up. Everybody sees that, right? Not on the micro trend anyway. Even a higher low and I'll take this trade. See it right there? Now, is that a gutsy trade? Yes or no? That's a gutsy trade, but that's exactly the way I draw in that room every single day. Tight stop. Okay, if it takes me, it takes me. I don't care. Because it's only going to cost me $4.50 and maybe 20 bucks, 30 bucks. Okay, see how I did that? Now that's what I think Charles was talking about in that webinar on Thursday, is you got to be careful doing that type of trading. But see, we diagnosed the chart ahead of time. If you draw your lightning, what's the rule for lightning, everyone? You got a high, you got a low, you got a higher high. So that was definitely your swing on the left. Okay? My line held. Now, is it going to continue holding? Not necessarily. If we get a higher low, more than likely we're going to head this thing up. Now I misdrawn my trend line because I wanted to draw it right here. Everybody sees that right there, right? Now this would not be my idea of a trend line again. Could you take it? It's a 45-degree angle, so I probably would. But I don't like it as much because I don't like flatter trend lines. See, it did get us a trade though, so I guess we'll take it. That is a wedge trade. All right. Now, when this is drawn on in the trading room, by the way, you'll notice that this is exactly the way that I draw on these charts. Okay, I'm always looking to the left to trade the right. I'm always looking, if I'm heading up, I'm going to get higher lows and higher highs. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Okay, because if I'm not going to get higher highs and higher lows, then they're going to consolidate on me. The higher low, Lewis, let me just show you real quick. When you draw on your charts, see how you had this high here, this low, and this higher high? Okay, this was identified at that particular point. Now notice that held, and then it did like an ABC with a higher low. So I still consider this to be my low. Looking to the left to trade the right. Okay, so then when they come back and check it, I don't expect them to go any lower than that left low. And see, that's where you'll find, see how that was even just a tad higher, not much? Maybe it was right on the money. Let me look. Yeah, it was right on the money. Okay, so that was like a little support area, just flat holding. Okay, but if they were to head up, let's kill this. If they were to continue to be heading up, you do not want them to take out that low. Okay, and draw it manually even if you need to, rather than with lightning till a person trains their brain. Because if you look at this, let's just draw this exactly the way it's set up. And I'm going to show you how the lightning indicator draws this. Lightning indicator sees this candle, this candle, this candle. Candle goes down. It draws like this. That's lightning 1. Okay. So looking to the left to trade the right, where's my low on this side of the chart? Okay, so if I got in here, for instance, stair stepping up, and I'm seeing that this is a low right here. You can clearly see it. That's a higher low, right? It's kind of sitting on top of that little range right there. Okay, but let's keep drawing it manually. So I'm going to draw it again. That's a high candle, that's a low candle. So it would draw to right there, pull back, like so. Now where's my identified swing on this left side of the chart? Well, don't look at the rest of it. Where's it right now? It's right there. Okay, that would be, in other words, this little micro trend, as long as I've got a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high, that's my swing. Okay, now if this takes this out, like so, that's my new low on what we call the micro trend. Okay, all right, let's watch it. Candle down, right? Candle up, candle up. So how would it draw? It would draw like this. These are really important to get used to how this type of action goes, because you're dealing with 3 trends on your charts at all times. And this is pretty much my webinar on Monday. All right, see how that low's holding? See that? See it hold? See how that holds? That's why that's so important. When they quit holding, they're going to come down and check those lower swings and everything. And that's what you want to be careful of, because that's when you'll lose your money. Okay, because, for instance, if you hold ES with 2 contracts from the top of Phantom to the mid-band, that's 24 ticks times 1250 times 2 contracts. Right? So that's 48 ticks of loss, which is well over $500. Okay? Now, Granted, if you do it the way that I'm teaching right here, you're going to get in and out more often. And you could go ahead and just write a runner and you're fine on that. But, you know, when you're talking about like multiple contracts and things, I would highly recommend against it. Okay, let's see if we can continue this little deal. And then I'm going to draw real lightning on it and see if we're right. See, there's a swing. Now, is that identified? Is this swing identified right here? No. See your high, your low, lower high. They'll take this out more than likely, but will they take this out? No. Not if they're going to head up. Now, can they take this out? You better bet your boots they can take this out. But what I'm saying is they can't take it out if they're going to head up. Okay? So watch and see how they actually do this. See how they just kissed it, kissed it, kissed it. Predictor even saw it. See, it's seeing the price action, and it tells you it's going up higher. Okay? So our lines would be drawing still like this, right? Let's see, that went up, that one went down, so we draw it over to here, like so. Draw it here, like so. See how that holds? Now, what did this do here? Well, in Lightning 1, it actually stair-stepped up because it went up a candle and then down a candle, like so, and then shot up. So when you look at that in real time, all right, I consider this to be my low because I look to the left to trade the right. That's my identified swing on the left. This is not an identified swing on the right until it takes this swing out, which it did. Now, this is your identified swing here. This is a primary identified, but I still look to the left to trade the right, and this is my left swing. See it? Okay, so I don't expect them to take that out if they come back and kiss it. See there? And that's what they don't do. Okay? Now, they will do this. Dressed, retrace. See how that's a lower high, but not a lower low? So this trend is still intact as long as looking to the left to trade the right, I don't get taken out of this particular trend. Now, keep in mind that this is a lower high here. This is a little lower, or a little higher low, that is, and then it goes back up. Let's see if I can draw this. I'm drawing this manually a lot, mainly so that you can see it, so that you'll see this type of trading in real time. Train your eye to see it. And that went back up, right? So you'd basically draw it like this, like that, and like that. Tedious to do it this, but if you train your eye to see this, you're going to see it without these lines. Because even though this is micro type of movements, it's still amazing if you look to the left to trade the right how this works. See how that's a higher low there? And then off you go. Like so, right? And now you're just drawing it, you know, like this until they get another higher low. Let's see, you can go to your drawing tool, up, down, and choose stay and draw. I know that, yeah. I just do this basically just to show this, and I'm so used to doing it the other way, Michael. I do know that you can keep it in that mode. That's true. Okay, does everybody see that? So now, if you're trading this with your real account, what are you looking for your next trade? Anybody? Well, if you look at your swings, you draw on your charts. There's a swing. They haven't chested it. We know they can't take that out and continue up. We know they can't. Because, see, we look to the left to trade the right, look to the left to trade the right, and that's our swing. This is like a little swing too, but when they're that close, I always draw it looking to the left even from there. Because, see, this is technically your swing right here now with a higher low. But with that only being 2 ticks down, I still use this. Okay? So let's see if we can get in a trade together This didn't turn out to be as much on wedge and everything, but I think this is teaching some people a lot of how to see these charts, though. I really do. All right, where have they not checked? And look at your predictors. Okay, you got a predictor, see it? Now, I always look when I see a predictor, I'm looking to the left to trade the right, okay? So I'm seeing a swing here now, like so, and that's right on top of that predictor. And there's another swing right here, but see, it's already tested that one. See there? High, low, higher, high. So they've tested that one. So I always bring my line down to the next one in my mind, and then I bring it to this one. That's my sweet spot. If it gets in that sweet spot right there, I would be looking for a trade. Okay. Now you can do it with trend lines. You know, again, see how this went thrust retrace down? That's not a trend line. See there? That's not a trend line. Bear with me just one second. All right, I'm back. All right, let's see real quick if we can get into a trend line trade. Now remember, when you draw like this and you're all the way at the top, you don't want a breakout trade. You really want something like this, but don't activate wedge yet, because I'm going to draw this trend line, then I'm going to move it as this thing does its thing. Let's see what it does. The beauty of trading this system is once you really train your mind to see these, you know, now is that actually going to be a little trend line if that bar goes down? Probably. Yep, look at it. See, the bar's trying to go down. It did. Okay, so is our trend line right here now. If this bounces off of this, I would probably buy one. See, I've diagnosed this ahead of time. I know right where my trade is coming to if we're going to continue. And the big thing to it is if simply means that if it hits this particular criteria, then we're still heading up. Waiting for the bar to close. If it'll close. Now, if it comes down to here, I'll also fire it. Okay, everybody see that? What I'm trying to do is illustrate as best as I know how to see these things in real time and how to look to the left to trade the right. We're going to talk about this more in detail on Monday in the trading room too, as the charts are really moving, just like I do every day. You know, this is easy to go, well, this could be hindsight. Yeah, but if a person was in the trading room, you saw these exact kind of trades called all day long. Okay, because we know that if this comes in this area right here, that we're going to be heading up. Okay, let's got to fast forward this a little bit. It's not giving me my trade. See how we've diagnosed it? Now, to me, looking over here, high, low, higher, high, this actually, see there, you just held. All right, we're going to also add one on a trend line break, because see what's happening now? You've got your other line to draw. See your low, your high. Now looking to the left again to trade the right. This is now my left, right? Now my left. See how that just wicked it? All right, you're wicking it. Now my true swing is also down here, but this is actually still a true swing, except that they didn't close above this. They kind of wicked it. See where they closed? They did close above it right there on that bar, but then this bar went down. So a lot of times I don't count this one, but this is still a good trade right here. Let's see if we can get it. We got one contract already. Got our wedge turned on. If it goes one more tick, it should fire it. And there you're in. And by the way, you could even turn this one on if you wanted to, that we drew from earlier, if this is going to really head up, that is. But that's a riskier one right there. I would rather do it if this bar goes up and goes down and then draw the trend line again. Let's see, your wedge is not set for long at bottom. Well, keep in mind, long at bottom, we won't care about this trade. Let's just see if it goes our way though. Let's just see if it does. I would put my stop absolutely underneath here now. See there? Yeah, we'll do this step by step on Monday. You know, matter of fact, one of my largest accounts is my Top Step, so I cannot trade that on Monday. Because if you trade on Monday with your Top Step account, you lose your Top Step account. And I don't want to lose that because, you know, it's making thousands of dollars. You know, that's a nice account. All right, see how I did this right here. Now this is not my idea of a good trade area, but I'm just trying to show you a trend line type. Let's see it. Let's just see if it works. And if it pops up above it, could you put your stop right there? And the answer is yes. Now, is that a gutsy stop? Not so much with exit on close, because it would have to actually break that little swing and close below it to take me out. Okay? Now, keep in mind, this particular method works quite well with trends. Okay? Always wait for the thrust and the pullback. You know, where so many people get messed up, let's see, I'm trying to think of, well, see, like for instance, you get here and you get a little trade and then they even come down here, take you out and give you another trade, you know, but this is your A, your B, and your C to begin with. See, this never broke this area right here. So that was your first A. B, never took it out, so that's not your B anymore. So A to here, and then B, and then C, and then there's your little trade. And keep in mind, too, that these predictors are pretty smart. Notice how if you traded right off of this one, there's a 10-tick trade, there's a 10-tick trade. This one right here, you didn't get your trade unless you took it here and you would have gotten stopped out, boxed it in, and got another trade. Okay? Let's see how our trade's going because we're out of time. Yeah, see, our trade's still going. Let's see what it did. Just curious, yeah. Now, by the way, when this goes to break even on your object trader, you can then go ahead and use your lightning if you want to, you know, as your stop. Because see, like I've got two contracts on, so all I'd have to do is turn on my PM. But keep in mind, PM is looking to the left and right, where the swing stop is looking only at the lightning, which is going to be the full swing. Okay, so if I use lightning 1 to give an example and hit my space bar so I can see where they're at, see, that's where my stop would be, and I could engage it and then just let this trade go. Let's see what it does. See how lightning held? Now, usually what I do is I put it like a little bit under it. See, and then you got stopped. Pretty cool way to trade, isn't it, everyone? Definitely a good way to trade. Now, does anybody see other trade setups on this chart right now? We're not going to go into them too much, but I think you can clearly see that, by the way, if I would have done that more minus and clicked it, we wouldn't have gotten stopped out of that trade, by the way. But is this actually a good trade right here to box? Anybody? Because you got to make your decision pretty quick. Is this a good little box? Let's just see if it is, just for the fun of it. We'll do 2 for 10 ticks. There we go, 12 ticks. We're in. We'll put our stop just under mid-band. That's the way you can use that little region box. Let's see if we get 12 ticks. Kept us in. Looks like we're going to get our 12 ticks. It's starting to stair step up. There you go. All right. So Monday morning, we're going to go over this in real time. We may even cut down to, well, with Charles not there on Monday. See, it's going to be me by myself on Monday. So on Monday, what we'll probably do is I'll have all 4 charts up, but I'm going to mostly diagnose oil and ES. Okay. That's what we'll concentrate on. Unless we see that Russell's doing better, as far as looks wise and everything. So does everybody see, if you were looking at this chart right now, that you're stair stepping up until you take out a certain part of this chart? I mean, if you draw your lines on your chart, you'll be amazed at what it'll show you. So you got a high, a low, lower high, same low. Not quite a higher high, so this isn't my identified swing yet. Let's see if we get it identified. I'm talking about on the little bit larger trend. Now this is identified. Let's see if they take this out just for the fun of it. I'm going 500 times. So let's just see what they do. Now I'm not looking at lightning 1 now. I'm looking at lightning 3. Because it works the same way on your larger swings too. See how that's taking this out right here? There's your swing that's identified on the larger swing. Now this turned red because it took out that swing right there. See how it just kissed it? That's going back up, I'll bet you. See, it works on every way that you trade it. That's lightning 3. Okay, and we drew that ahead of time on the left. Okay, so when I talk about a little bit larger swings like lightning 3, that's actually this swing area right here. And notice how that just kissed it. So could you have taken a trade there? And the answer is yes. This type of trading right here off this mid band, you would have had to put your stop here and you never got taken out. Okay, let's do this on Monday for the fun of it in the room. And keep in mind that on Monday, if you're a top step trader, do not trade your account. And I forgot to check one up, but I think I'm just going to, if I trade at all, it'll be my personal account and I'll watch it really closely. All right. Which is better, top step or one up, Michael P? Well, on your question on that, it's really a question of how you like to trade and everything, because one up trader, you only have to evaluate one time, where with top step trader, you do have to hit 2 evaluations. And the way they do theirs, I think the first evaluation is still 15 days, I believe. And then your second evaluation is 10. And if it is that way, then it takes more than a month to get it. So you end up paying them twice. Where with one up, you can pay them only one time. Plus, we give you a 25% discount. Let's see, Lewis, one more question. What's an easy way to see which lightning swing at the time is being drawn? Well, you can change your colors of your lightning swing in your indicators. Like I keep mine, like my trend line itself is like aqua and white on my lightning 4. It's green and yellow, dark green and yellow on lightning 3. And then on lightning 1, I've got mine set right now on blue and red, but I'm going to change that from red because you can't see it on red bars. And lightning 2, I've got set on lime green and purple. Those you can see pretty good. Okay. So the whole thing is, if a person's more of a larger trend trader, you'll stay in a trade longer. But look at this. That's 50 ticks back down. So wouldn't you be better off buying support at mid bands, taking some quick trades, buying support? You got a phantom trade first time in after a trend change, buy support. Yeah, and when they're choppy like this, there's no question about it, you got to scalp them. Okay? All right, if anybody has any questions, I'll be around on Skype too. Thanks everybody for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. And it was recorded, and I'll get it up on the site here pretty shortly. All right. I think I got everybody. And if anybody has any questions on Top Step or OneUp, just give me a shout. We are going to go ahead and try to work out a deal with Top Step also. Now, they have an affiliate program where they pay us, but I don't want that. I want a discount so we can give you guys and gals a discount on it instead of us just making some money off of them. Okay? Because that's the way we do it on OneUp. We give a full 25% discount and we don't get paid a dime from them. And that's what I'd like to do with Top Step. If they'll even go 20, I'd be happy with that. All right. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you Monday morning. And we will trade. Kathy, did you ask a question? Object power meter and ultimate object power, are they different? You're talking about the template? The template? Go onto our website, Kathy, and if you go to your member login, I'll go ahead and go to my member login and show you. Bear with me 1 second. If you go to the member login and go to this little zip file, see, go to your member login, go to this little zip file here, open it up, and it opens like this. The template that we're using now is Object Power Meter MTF. And you can just right click, copy that, and then copy it to your document folder, NinjaTrader 7, templates/chart. And it's in the instructions on it too, in this little instruction, little text deal here. Okay? Again, thanks everybody for coming, and we'll see you on Monday. And who knows, it might be a decent day. We could get some good trades. All right, again, see you Monday morning. Bye now.